5 minutes online and the world needs to die. Hello everyone, welcome to my review of Avengers Age of Ultron. We finally made it to another Avengers movie. So in this movie, Tony decides that we need a suit of armor around the world. And in comes Ultron to ruin everyone's day. So starting off, obviously we have Robert Downey Jr. back as Iron Man. And everything that he has experienced kind of leads him to doing the wrong thing in this movie. And I like that for his character, where it's like, in order to protect it, he kind of destroys the world instead. Well, an accident. Then we have Chris Evans back as Captain America, our leader. And we have Chris Hemsworth back as Thor. And he's kind of like where the problems come from in this movie, because this movie sets up the next phase of the MCU. And it's because of Thor. Thor has these visions in the movie that sets up sequels, and it is a problem in the movie. Chris Hemsworth is once again fantastic as Thor, but the setup that he does is just a problem. We got Mark Ruffalo back as Bruce Banner, who apparently is an emergency situation only. Hulk isn't in every Avengers fight, only when he needs to be is he there. Code Green is what they call that. We have Scarlett Johansson back as Natasha Romanoff, also known as Black Widow, and we get to learn more about Black Widow's backstory. A little bit, a tease, as you might. But we got to learn more about her, and I loved knowing about it. There's also a comedic thing about this whole thing, which I will talk about in the spoiler talk. But there's a bit of a comedic thing that it wasn't intentional. Obviously, you can't really plan for that kind of stuff, but I liked it. And then finally, we have the one missing member from the last movie. You didn't really get anything. We have Jeremy Renner as Clint Barton, also known as Hawkeye. And like I said, last movie, he didn't get anything. He was controlled for a big portion of the movie, which kind of negated him having any kind of character. So, let's just be honest here. This is his movie. This is the movie of Hawkeye, because we get everything for Hawkeye that we missed before. Character development, backstory is But to be honest, throughout the whole of the MCU, Hawkeye hasn't really gotten any backstory. It's just, he's a fantastic archer who joined S.H.I.E.L.D. That's backstory. But we get a lot more for him, and I love what they give him. It really feels like I'm sorry for not using Hawkeye as much in the last movie and having him be mind controlled. Which, about mind control, he has one thing that I actually really like. So let's just move straight from that to the new characters, where we have basically two before we get to the main bad guy. We have three, but I won't talk about number 3. So, starting off, we have Aaron Taylor Johnson as Pietro Maximoff and my wife as Wanda Maximoff. And they are absolutely and they are good in the role, but Elizabeth Olsen is fantastic in the role. Aaron Taylor Johnson is good in the role. Like, they're both good in the role, but like, they need more development in future movies. And that's the problem. I'm not gonna talk about that in this video, but if you know, you know. But I really like them both in their respective roles. Also, their backstory is a little bit changed, because the twins are, in the comic books, the children of Magneto. However, since Fox owns the X-Men rights, they can't really do that. Now, if you're wondering why Marvel and Fox can share the rights to the twins, it's because of the fact that in the comic books, they may be X-Men characters, but they joined the Avengers early on. So I guess that kind of gives them a bit of a leeway to use, for both of them to use it. And also, because of the fact that we got Quicksilver in this movie, Quicksilver appeared in X-Men Days of Future Past. It's a nice little thing. But I like them both in this movie, and I'm really excited to see more of them in future stuff. And like I said, we also have a third character, but I'm not going to talk about him. But who I am going to talk about is Paul Bettany, because he puts in once again a fantastic performance as Jarvis. So let's talk about our main bad guy of the movie. We have Ultron. Now, Ultron is an interesting character. Look, what I said at the beginning is entirely true. Ultron looked at the history of human race for 5 minutes, and he was like, alright, it all needs to go. I also like how we get a villain that isn't necessarily related to, like, the Thanos problem. That makes Ultron feel a bit different from, you know, like Loki and Thanos. Because Loki came to Earth because of Thanos, and also because Loki wanted to. But, like, Thanos gave him the power needed in order to potentially take over Earth if the Avengers weren't there. Ultron is separate from it all. People have compared him to Tony Stark, and yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the case. I don't know how the comic books went, because of the fact that, you know, I'm not a comic book reader. However, I know for a fact that Hank Pym made Ultron. I don't know if Tony Stark helped or if Bruce Banner helped. I don't know. But we don't have Hank Pym yet in this movie franchise, which is actually ironic because we're getting him next. He probably would have been here if they could have made the Ant-Man movie sooner, but because of problems, they didn't. And the personality that Ultron has in this movie is very much based off of Tony Stark. Like the quippiness that Tony Stark has is also what Ultron has, which is an issue that people have with Ultron. I personally don't have such an issue with it, but I think we can all agree that James Spader is fantastic as Ultron. Like, his voice is perfect. After this movie came out, I watched a couple of seasons of Blacklist just because I liked him a lot. But the thing about this movie is the fact that I don't know what it is with these twos and setting things up. Iron Man 2 had like a bunch of setup for the Avengers that kind of ruins the movie. Age of Ultron has setup for Phase 3, which kind of, but not entirely for me, but kind of, you know, it slows the movie down, let's say that. And then in an upcoming thing, which is Daredevil Season 2, it sets up the Defenders thing in its season. And like I said, I don't know what it is with twos, but maybe we should just stop making twos. Instead, we should just jump from movie 1 to 3, okay? But for me, the setup part, it does, like, the problems in this movie are there. Is this movie as good as the first Avengers movie? No. Is it better? No. It has issues that I'll talk about later, but it has issues that I also have an issue with. Because there are things, you know, where people have an issue with it, but I personally don't. But here it's like, yeah, okay. Look, the setup is too much. That one moment is bad, actually bad in the writing sense. I get you want to do it because of the fact it adds like stakes, but you didn't need to do it, okay? You just didn't. But I really enjoyed this movie. I really like Ultron, the Avengers, the twins. I really like them all. And I guess we should just be heading over to the final verdicts of Avengers Age of Ultron. So, my final verdict for Avengers Age of Ultron is going to be an 8 out of 10. It's not as good as the first Avengers movie, which got a 10er, but I still think that it is very much a really good movie. While it does have some setup problems and one character problem, Ultron is a really good villain and a very memorable villain. And also, you know, the way that the cast and the Avengers interact with each other, you can see that they've been on missions together. And I like that, you know, they've actually formed a team. Because beforehand, you know, I mean, they worked together, but they weren't necessarily a team, you know. But now they've spent time with each other. They know each other a bit better. So now they are fully a team. And the paranoia that Tony Stark has in this movie and has had since the Avengers, having that result in the creation of Ultron, I thought was really well done. Even though Hank Pym is not in it and people might be upset with it, and also Ultron kind of sounding a bit like Tony Stark might be a bit of an issue for some people, but for me it isn't. But let me know your thoughts in that comment section down below. I want to know your thoughts since this is kind of a heated movie. What are your thoughts? Did you love the movie? Do you think it's better than the first Avengers movie? Or is this the worst movie you've ever seen in your life? Comment it down below, let me know. And with that being said, thank you all so very much for watching, and I do hope you guys have enjoyed. And if you did, please like button, subscribe if you're new if you're not already, turn on notifications, and don't forget to check out the Let's Play channel, link in the description and at the end of the video. And I guess I will be seeing you guys next time when we return to the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and their inhuman problem. Bye!